Hi everyone, and welcome to the Open VMS IDE tutorial. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a new VMS IDE project. To do this, open the Explorer view, or you can just press Ctrl-Shift-E, then click Open Folder. Select the folder where you want to store your project. Let's call the folder Executable to match the type of the project that we're going to create. As you can see, the folder is selected but empty. The next step is to adjust the settings. To open Settings, select File Preferences Settings, or simply press Ctrl+, Switch to the Workspace Settings tab and search for EOL, which stands for the end-of-line character. By default, it's set to Auto, and we need to change it to /n, line feed only. Another parameter that you may want to change is the type of configuration. We can find it under Extensions VMS IDE. There are three options here. VCS settings are available in the Visual Studio Code settings interface. FS settings are saved to JSON files in the project directory. These are easy to manage and edit. And VFS settings are saved to JSON files to the VS Code virtual file system. The default and recommended option is FS. As you can see, a .vs code folder has been created in the project directory. At the moment, it contains only settings.json with a specified end-of-line character. The next step is to configure the SSH connection to the OpenVMS system that will be used for storing, compiling, debugging, and running your project. Press Ctrl-Shift-P or F1 to open the commands list. Start typing VMS IDE. You will see the list of all VMS IDE commands supported at the moment. Select Edit SSH Helper Settings. There are three sections in the SSH Helper Settings file: Connection, Host Connection, and Timeouts. We can specify our connection parameters directly in the connection settings. For example, host, key file or password, the port number, and finally the username. If we need more than one connection, we can specify all the connections in the hosts array, like so. Then we can just use the connection label as the host in the connection section. VMS IDE will pick the correct host connection parameters from the hosts array. When the file is saved, it appears in the .vs code folder. Now that we're done with the SSH connection settings, we can configure our project. To do this, use the Edit VMS Project Settings command. There are two sections in this file, one for project settings and one for synchronizer settings. Project settings include the lists of builders, headers, listing file extensions, project name and type, and so on. For this project, we need to set the project type to executable. Then specify the root directory, the directory where the project source files, object and listing files and executables will be stored on your OpenVMS system. We will store our project in the test/executable directory. We can leave synchronizer settings unchanged. You can read more on these settings in the documentation. We'll put the links in the video description below. The synchronizer settings file is also saved in the .vs code folder. Now that we're done with the settings, we can create a new source code file, for example main.cpp, and start coding. In the next video, we will add projects of other types to our workspace and work with the Project Explorer.